What if the fate of an entire country depended on the vocals of a K-pop girl group? Sounds wild, right? But that's exactly the setup K-pop Demon Hunters throws us into. A high-energy blend of music, martial arts, and mystical warfare. At the center of it all is Huntrix, the trio tasked with saving South Korea from a centuries-old demon king named Guimma. And no, this isn't just some behind-the-scenes industry rivalry. We're talking soul-stealing, apocalypse-level stakes. So here's the deal. Since the 17th century, South Korea has been protected by a spiritual force called the Han Moon, a barrier that keeps ghouls from invading the mortal world. But this shield only holds because of generations of chosen singer-warriors. In the 21st century, the burden falls on three young idols, Roomie, Zoe, and Mira. With their voices, their bond, and the unwavering support of their fans, they're on a mission to strengthen the Han Moon into its ultimate form, the Golden Han Moon, a permanent barrier that could stop the demons forever. But just when they're about to pull it off, Guimma plays his final card. Enter Ginu and the Saja boys, a rival group manufactured not just to steal the spotlight, but to break the bond between Huntrix and their fans. It was all part of a sinister plot to weaken the spiritual connection that kept Guimma locked away. And once the fans began turning, their souls became ripe for the taking. Things spiral quickly. Roomie's dark secret, her connection to Guimma, starts to unravel. Turns out, her godmother Celine had been hiding something big. Roomie is the child of a demon and a hunter. That's why her voice could influence the Han Moon in ways no one else's could. It's also why she has those jagged markings on her skin, a visible trace of her demonic bloodline. Celine assured her that once the Golden Han Moon was complete, the marks would fade and Roomie could live a normal life. But until then, she had to keep everything under wraps. Ginu, who had secretly allied with Roomie, decides to help her out, until Guimma reminds him of his past sins. Ginu had once sacrificed his own mother and sister in exchange for fame and power, and now Guimma demanded his loyalty. So when the International Idol Awards arrive, Ginu betrays Roomie. He exposes her markings to Zoe and Mira, and unleashes chaos by using two demons to impersonate the girls, faking a massive falling out to shatter their public image. Fans turn. Hard. With Huntrix's reputation in ruins, the Saja boys lure their hypnotized followers into a stadium, where Guimma begins feasting on their souls. Meanwhile, Roomie, desperate for guidance, turns to Celine, only to hear the same old tune about hiding who she is and fixing the Han Moon. But Roomie's had enough. Instead of masking her true self, she decides to step into the spotlight, scars and all, and fight back. When Mira and Zoe realize the truth, they rush to support their sister, not just as bandmates, but as family. The three of them take the stage one last time in an epic showdown against Guimma and his demon horde. And when Ginu sees that Guimma was never going to set him free, especially not after threatening the life of the woman he loves, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. His death gives Huntrix the opening they need to banish Guimma and his minions back to the underworld. With the Golden Han Moon finally activated, the demon threat is neutralized, at least for now. Huntrix's reputation skyrockets, and everything seems to return to normal. But not everything is tied up in a neat little bow. Roomie's identity crisis runs deep. Born out of wedlock in a deeply conservative society, her origins were a scandal waiting to explode. South Korea's cultural expectations put enormous pressure on public figures to be flawless, straight, and scandal-free. In that sense, her markings weren't just demon scars. They were symbols of societal rejection, of being told you don't belong because of circumstances you didn't choose. Whether you interpret Roomie's journey as a metaphor for body image, queerness, or both, her decision to stop hiding was a powerful moment. Celine's repeated push to cover up felt eerily familiar, mirroring the pressure many K-pop idols face to hide anything that doesn't align with the industry's curated perfection. Still, the movie stops short of showing whether the public truly accepted Roomie's truth. It's only Zoe and Mira's love and loyalty that give her the courage to keep going. That leads us to something else the movie explored with surprising depth: fandom. The power of the crowd. One minute, fans were worshipping Huntrix. The next, they were hypnotized by the Saja boys, practically handing their souls to a demon. Bobby, their manager, stuck around, but only because he was being paid. And when Huntrix made their comeback, those same fans jumped back on the bandwagon like nothing happened. It's a not-so-subtle critique of how superficial and fickle idol worship can be, even when lives are literally on the line. The film doesn't spell out what we're supposed to take from that. Should fans be more loyal, or maybe stop building unhealthy parasocial attachments altogether? The ambiguity feels intentional, probably to avoid upsetting real-world K-pop stans. But the message still lands. Idol culture is complicated, and real change won't happen until we stop worshiping stars and start appreciating the art for what it is. Now, let's talk sequels. Yes, Guimma was defeated, but was he really destroyed? That's debatable. Given his centuries-long history of feeding off humanity's flaws, he doesn't feel like the kind of villain who goes down from a single power ballad. If anything, his return feels inevitable. Only next time he'll need a sneakier plan. Rival bands and brute force didn't work. He'll have to exploit something deeper. There are still so many questions left unanswered. What really happened to Roomie's parents? How did a hunter fall for a demon? And what's Celine's true role in all of this? She clearly knows more than she's letting on. Did she play a part in Roomie's mother's death? Did she betray her? There's a whole tragic backstory waiting to be unpacked. And then there's Mira and Zoe. Roomie may have supernatural blood, but what about the others? How did they become hunters? What drives them to fight? We barely scratched the surface of their stories, and a sequel could really flesh out the whole team. So yeah, K-pop demon hunters might have ended with a standing ovation, but don't be fooled. That curtain could rise again at any moment. And honestly, I hope it does. Thanks for watching. If you've got thoughts about Roomie's arc, Guimma's return, or just want to rant about the Saja boys' betrayal, drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Until then, keep your fandom pure and your playlists demon-free. See you in the next one.